Hello YouTube, welcome to Showcase Watches. Today bringing you another beautiful watch from my favourite brand, Omega. This particular watch being part of the 1957 trilogy. This is the Omega Seamaster 300, the coaxial master chronometer. The reference number for this watch is 234.10.39.20.01.001, and the recommended retail price for this watch is £5,650. This is a limited edition to 3,557 pieces. It is powered by the Master Chronometer 8806, which is an in-house coaxial movement by Omega with a 55-hour power reserve. This particular watch is a reissue, along with the Omega Speedmaster and Omega Railmaster. All three of these watches formed the 1957 trilogy. All three watches, the Speedmaster, Seamaster and Railmaster, were all released in 1957 and really put Omega on the map in a big way. And these three watches were reintroduced in 2017 to mark the 60th anniversary. This particular watch that we're looking at today being the Seamaster 300, this watch is based on the CK2913 from 1957. As mentioned, it's powered by the in-house 8806, so it is a anti-magnetic to 15,000 Gauss movement. Absolutely beautiful timepiece. Now, before I get into the video too much, I will do a quick wristwatch check. So wearing the Tudor Blue Bay 58, released on July 1st, 2020, and of course wearing the Tudor gloves as well. So moving into this watch in particular. Now, basically what Omega did is they've used almost like a X-ray scan machine, and they have scanned a 1957 Omega Seamaster 300, and basically to recreate to absolute perfection this watch. Nobody does reissues like Omega does. Omega are a company that they know what they've done in the past. They know they've created fantastic watches, and why not make them again? And we'll get further into why reissues are a good thing in a few minutes, but just going into a little bit of the background of this watch. So 1957, the trilogy came out, the Seamaster, Railmaster, Speedmaster, really did put Omega on the map. The Omega Seamaster that we see here, this sort of really got Omega going into the dive watch genre. This watch is the father of the Omega Seamaster brand, whether it be the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean, the Omega Seamaster Professional, or whether it be the Aquaterra. They all have their heritage and roots from this particular watch. Hence why I purchased this watch. Being an Omega fan, I love my Omegas, I love the purist models, and to me this is an Omega purist model. So you can see here it's a 39mm case size, so it's contemporary size. It is 14mm thick, and between the lugs we've got a 19mm spacing. So it's quite a contemporary size. It fits most wrists, very, very comfortable on the wrist. I have a slightly larger wrist, and I can wear this watch no problem at all. It is, with it being a 39mm, it does wear fractionally bigger, because you can see here we've got quite a small outer bezel and we've got a lot of dial. So that gives you the illusion that the watch is bigger than it actually is. The other watch that I can describe that to would be the Rolex Explorer 1. Again, being a 39mm watch, but with it having a very small bezel area, it actually looks bigger. So visually, the watch looks bigger, but actually on the wrist, it wears very, very nice and comfortable. 14mm thick, so it is a chunky case, but obviously we're housing the caliber 8806 in here, so it's an absolute powerhouse movement, 55-hour power reserve, and anti-magnetic down to 15,000 Gauss. Now, true to its name, Omega Seamaster 300, this watch is water resistant down to 300 meters. The original, the CK2913, was actually, yes, it was named the Seamaster 300, but it was actually only water resistant down to 200 meters. Now, this bracelet, you will see there is absolutely no taper on this bracelet at all. We've got the vintage Omega clasp. Now, when I say that, what I mean is we've got the vintage logo. We have got the twin push-button deployant, so we've got the security, we've got the modern security, but in a vintage style. This clasp, of course, also has the little glide lock system in there. which allows for a little bit of bit of adjustment on the fly. If you are getting a little bit warm through the day, your wrist expands, you can do a quick adjustment without taking the watch off. It is a bi-directional bezel, so the bezel, as you can see, goes both ways. Very, very much accurate to the period. Obviously now, most dive watches come with I'll show you on my Tudor, a unidirectional bezel, so it'll only go the one way. Across the Omega, went with the bi-directional, as it is accurate to the period. We've got here a nice tropical dial, beautiful lume. Now you'll see, you can't really see because of where the hand is, but the logo on the watch, let me just unscrew it, and I will move the hand out of the way to show you. You will see that there we go. So you can see that the logo and everything is correct vintage and correct for the period. Let's push that back in. So it is correct to the period. The tropical dial, just nicely, a slight element of faux patina to the watch. You can see that Omega have gone with the dome sapphire crystal. So again, very, very vintage-esque. The bezel, beautifully designed. This is not the ceramic, this is aluminium, which I love. Those of you who watch the channel know I love the aluminium bezels. Aluminium bezels get a patina to them, they age beautifully and it makes the watch unique. Ceramic bezels just lack that charm, in my opinion. Now on the case back, you can see we've got the traditional seahorse, the Seamaster seahorse, got limited edition details, and it's just a no fuss case back. It is just absolutely no fuss. There's no, there's no sapphire crystal case back here. It is just no fuss. Very, very, very much accurate to the 1957 Seamaster of old. But now the reason why I mentioned before about this being a reissue and the fact it's a good thing is I'll just bring in my GMT from Rolex. Now this one is a 1987 Rolex GMT Pepsi 16750. Now this watch is a genuine vintage piece. This is a fragile watch. This is a fragile watch. This isn't a watch you'd want to wear as a tool watch, as an everyday tool watch. It's a beautiful watch and it is all original, even down to the bezel. Now if I damage this watch in any way, straight away it takes away from the originality of the watch. So I've got to wear this watch very, very carefully, and any harm I do to this watch with general wear and tear will take away from the originality. Even if it needs repolishing, things like that, it's taking away the originality of the watch. So you've got to baby the vintage watches. Whereas when you've got a reintroduction, when you've got a reissue, that isn't the case. The reissues, you've got the benefit of all the vintage vibe, all the vintage aesthetic, and all the design cues of the vintage. But inside, you've got the modern technology. You've got the modern technology gone into the bracelet. You've got the modern technology with the sapphire crystal, the bezel mechanism. You've got the clasp. So it's all modern tech. You've got the screws, the screw adjustments on the bracelet. The fact that the clasp is a twin deployant. So 2 buttons, open, all beautifully milled. Inside there, we've got a little push button to make the micro adjustments on the move. All these things, modern, modern, modern. The vintage pieces did not have this. The vintage pieces had the holes for adjustments, no screws. If you had a vintage, a genuine 1957 vintage Seamaster, you wouldn't have the adjustability of this watch. You wouldn't have the functionality of this watch, the hard wearability of this watch, the sapphire crystal, anti-scratch sapphire crystal, the modern build of the case, the modern build of the bracelet. This is a modern watch, but with the vintage aesthetic. It has got all the modern tech, all the modern toys, but in the vintage body. And that's what I absolutely love about it. If I could have a Rolex GMT reissue, I would be, all over it. I would absolutely love to see Rolex do it. Rolex will never do it. That isn't Rolex's bag. But Omega, they make reissues like nobody else. They are just absolutely superb at doing it. To show you a little bit of the packaging that the watch comes with. Now we've got this beautiful Omega box. Again, a vintage box, and this is really harping back to how watches were displayed and produced back in the day. Watch brands were proud of their watches, they were proud of their packaging, they were proud of how they presented their watches. Now, bearing in mind, go back to 1957, when this trilogy came out. Omega were knocking spots off Rolex. You know, Omega were the better brand back in the day, and Omega were proud of it. And when you see this packaging, all accurate to the period, you can see that Omega has great pride in what they do. And I'll just show you the little travel pouch that comes with this watch. And you can see inside with a little travel pouch, so you can pop your watch in there. You've got the strap changing tool, and inside these little compartments here, you've got 2 straps to choose from. You've got the little NATO, and you've also got the lever. So you can go on holiday, you can put your watch in here, wrap it up, and you've got plenty of adjustments and options when you go away. If you want to go out for a meal, you can put your leather strap on. If you want to go swimming, keep with the bracelet. And if you want to go trekking, put it on the NATO. This watch just covers all the bases. It can be a little bit dressy, it can be tool watch, or it can just go middle of the road on the bracelet. Absolutely beautiful. Now, Omega, as we know, is a first-class brand. There's no need. You guys know I love Omega. I'll just bring into shot my little Speedy. So my Omega Speedmaster, I love these watches. Again, the Omega Speedmaster, very, very much sort of harping back to yesteryear. Obviously the Speedmaster, goes without saying, famous 1969 moon landing, came out as a racing watch, ended up being issued by NASA. As you can see on the back, it's got all about the NASA missions. But yeah, beautiful. I love my Speedmasters. I have 2 of these things. I've got this one, and I've got my 50th edition. My 50th anniversary. Absolutely love Omega Speedmaster, and I love Omega as a brand. So this watch in itself, I purchased this watch pre-owned. I paid £3,800 for it as a pre-owned purchase. As you can see, it does have a few minor marks on the bracelet, very, very minor on the clasp, a little bit on the back. You know, it's a worn piece. This is a 2019 watch. It actually was launched in 2017. Been a 1957 trilogy. 2017 was the 60th anniversary, hence why the 3 watches came out. You can purchase these watches as a trio, so you can purchase them as a set of 3. They are significantly more expensive buying them that way. It is cheaper to buy them as individual watches, but if you get them in the trio packaging, they do have slight differences on the dial, but you know, it's just a beautiful, 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 beautiful set to have. Especially any Omega purist would love to have the trio set. I'll just show you as well. This is what the watch comes with. So you've got the seahorse, as seen on the back of the case. Omega 1957, the Seamaster 300, done in the period correct style, as is on the dial. So this is all period correct, as with the Omega logo. This is set exactly how it was in 1957. I'll come back to the dial in a minute, because I just wanted to talk about the modern cues. So you can see here that Omega have done it. This is the original 1957 Seamaster 300. There's some literature about the watch, and this is basically Omega telling you why this watch is so good. They're showing pride in what they sell. Here you can see an original advertisement for the original Seamaster 300. This is when a watch company was telling you why their products were good. They were telling you why their products should be on your wrist instead of another company's. They were showing great pride in their appearance, their packaging, the way they displayed things, the literature they gave you to say why you'd make it a good choice to purchase their watch instead of somebody else's. This was pure pride in what they were doing. Just going back to the dial, just a quick one. Anybody who looks at the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean or the Aquaterra, you will see that this watch gave birth to a lot of those design cues. In this watch, you can see this is a predecessor of the Planet Ocean. You can see with the broad arrow hands, even the bezel, this bezel on this watch, if you look at the Mark 1 Planet Ocean, which that was the caliber 2500. If you look at that watch and you look at the bezel on that watch in comparison to this, there are similarities. This watch is very, very much the grandfather of the divers line in the Omega family. Absolutely beautiful piece. I absolutely adore it. The loom on this watch is superb. The little centre pip at the top there, absolutely superb. It is so legible. It's one of the most legible dials I've ever seen in a watch. Loom on it, fantastic on an evening. All this faux patina just comes alive. It really does come alive. And the centre pip at the top, really easy to read. As I said, bi-directional. It's just beautiful. And then the movement on the watch, the actual, how precise you can set these hands. I mean, some of the Rolexes I have, when you try and hack a Rolex and you try and get it to the exact point, and then you just press the button, the minute hand sort of jumps out of position. Not with this. This is just, you set it, it's just perfection. Omega, in my opinion, are making some of the best in-house movements in the luxury watch market. They're absolutely superb. Omega as a brand, I love Omega, obviously part of the Swatch group. I love Omega, I love the watches. There isn't many Omegas that I really dislike. Of course, with every brand, there are things I dislike, but you know, for the whole, I love Omega, I love the watches. The manual winding on this is just butter smooth. I mean, I know other YouTubers use this terminology a lot, butter smooth, but it is. You know, you feel this. It's just silky. It's just such a joy to wind. When you've wound something like a Seiko, or if you've worn, or even an ETA movement, something that you can be found in a Breitling Super Ocean or something like that, nothing compares. I mean, I would argue that this feels a better movement than any Rolex that I've encountered. And I do own some modern Rolex, and you know, I much prefer the movements in the Omegas. Omega to me are just they're a company that are just packed with innovation, and the fact that they know what they did in 1957 was perfection, and they think, you know, why not? 60-year anniversary, we will celebrate it. We'll bring back some of our old classics, and yeah, this is definitely a watch for the Omega purist. One that I think the Omega purist will enjoy. You can just see in the right there the little Omega logo at the centre of the sapphire crystal. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I'll give you some close-up shots there of the, just an absolutely beautiful watch. You can just see how the lugs are just starting to taper there. Now obviously Omega, as we know, are famous for their tapered lugs. You can see on there how the lugs taper. It's just a trademark of the Omega. This was before they went onto the taper. But you can see where the taper came from. It was after this model that the taper came in. These have gone for more of a straighter edge, but you can just see how Omega do it. And those flanks, how they do their polishing, it's absolutely beautiful. That would be one of my only criticisms, is I just wish they could get the screw-down crown to sit in the correct position when you wind the screw. You know, when you wind the screw in, I'd like to see it the correct way up, but you know, you can't have everything. So yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think. Do you think this is a nice watch? Do you think this is, for me, this is one of the best dive watches on the market. It genuinely is. I mean, as you guys know, I like my divers. I've got my Tudor Blue Bay 58, again a 39mm watch. I've got my Rolex Submariner, and I've got a Seamaster Professional. But this is the granddaddy of the Omega Seamaster line, and to me, it is perfection. Can I fault it for anything? Yeah, I mean, my only criticism would be I would have liked to have seen a 20mm between the lugs and taper down. I always like to see a bit of a taper in a bracelet, much like the Submariner does. I'd like to have seen a taper in the bracelet. That would be my criticism. Apart from that, can I criticise anything else? I don't think I can. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. Taper the bracelet and you'd have had a perfect watch. Other than that, yeah, I think it's perfect. Tell me what you guys think. Don't forget to check out my other videos, please. And yeah, leave me a comment and a like, and I will read the comments and I'll try and get back to you. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.